Hamlet is a play written by William Shakespeare. It is estimated to have been written between 1599 and 1601. This is one of the Shakespeare's best known and most highly regarded works. It is also his longest, containing a total of 29,551 words and 4,042 lines. Interestingly, there are three different versions of the play. The first version, published in 603, is the only just over half as long as the second, which was printed a year later in 1604. The third version was published in 1623 as part of the first version of the Shakespeare's complete works. The version most of us know today is a combination of the second two versions. Hamlet is a tragedy which deals with a wide variety of themes, including love, death, revenge, and mental health. Because the play is so long and written in the language of the 17th century, Hamlet, the play, centers around the main character, Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. When Hamlet's father dies, Hamlet's uncle Claudius marries his mother and takes the throne up for himself. Hamlet's father appears to the young prince as a ghost, telling his son that he was murdered by Claudius, and he wants Hamlet to kill Claudius to revenge his death. Hamlet feels he needs proof before taking any drastic action, and he pretends to be mentally ill while he investigates the claims made by his father's ghost. However, he genuinely becomes deeply affected mentally by the situation and ends up accidentally killing another man, Polonius, believing him to be Claudius. Polonius was the father of Hamlet's girlfriend, of Ophelia, and on hearing the news, she kills herself by drowning. The story culminates in a sword fight between Hamlet and Laterus, Ophelia's brother. Laterus has dipped his sword in poison, which he has also added to some wine. This results in the deaths of Hamlet, his mother Gertrude, and Claudius at the end of the play. If we look at the act-wise summary, there are five acts in Hamlet. Act 1, the play opens with a meeting between Hamlet's friend, Horatia, and two of the palace guards. The guards inform Horatia that they have seen a ghost resembling the king who has recently died. The ghost then appears to the group, and then they decided to tell Hamlet about it. We then cut to the following morning and the wedding of the king's widow, Gertrude, to his brother Claudius. Claudius has taken the throne, and Hamlet is extremely unhappy about this and his mother's wedding. Horatia and the guards inform Hamlet about the ghost. The following scene shows us a conversation between the new king's advisor, Polonius, and his son and daughter, Laterus and Ophelia. Ophelia has a romantic interest in Hamlet, and her father and brother advise her against this. She agrees not to see him anymore. That night, Hamlet sees the king's ghost. The ghost tells him that he was murdered by Claudius, and he wants Hamlet to avenge his murder by killing Claudius. However, he doesn't want Hamlet to harm Gertrude in any way. Hamlet agrees to his father's wishes but decides he needs to get proof of the truth before taking action. He thinks the best way to do this is by feigning mental illness, and he informs Hiroshia and one of the guards of this plan. In Act 2, Hamlet starts to carry out his plan, acting strangely. Ophelia breaks off her relationship with him, and she tells Polonius that Hamlet's behavior is extremely out of character. Polonius is convinced that Hamlet is still in love with Ophelia, and he tells Claudius. The pair start up to spy on Hamlet to try and find a reason for his strange behavior. Hamlet's mother, Gertrude, is also concerned about the change in her son. She asks his old school friends, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to try and find out what's wrong with him. They are unsuccessful as Hamlet won't answer these questions. A traveling theatre company then arrives at the palace. Hamlet requests that the following night they should perform a play about a man who kills his brother and marries his brother's widow in the hope that it will provoke a guilty reaction in Claudius. In Act 3, Ophelia and Hamlet meet so she can return the gifts he gave her when they were together. Hamlet tells her the best thing she can do is to go to live in a nunnery. This confuses Polonius and Claudius, who were spying on their affair. They conclude that Hamlet's madness hasn't been caused by Ophelia, or Claudius thinks Hamlet should be sent away to live in England if nobody can find out what's wrong with him. That night, the theatre company performs the play. Claudius storms out, stopping the action and convincing Hamlet that his father's ghost was telling the truth. He makes up his mind to murder Claudius that night, but hears him praying and decides to wait. Hamlet goes to see his mother, Gertrude, and they have an argument about everything that's been happening. When Hamlet hears someone moving behind a tapestry, he thinks it's Claudius and stabs the intruder. He then realizes it's actually Polonius. He is killed. The old king's ghost appears again, telling Hamlet he shouldn't have upset his mother. Gertrude can't see the ghost and thinks Hamlet's apparently one sided conversation is proof that he has gone mad. The scene ends with Hamlet dragging Polonius' body away. In Act 4, Claudius sends Hamlet away to England with his friends Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. On the way, he discovers that Claudius has asked the English king to have him killed when he arrives. Hamlet decides to send Rosencrantz and Guildenstern in his palace and return home. He sends a letter to his friend Horatia explaining that he has showed away on a pirate ship that is bringing him back to Denmark. Ophelia has gone mad with his grief following her father's death. She kills herself by drowning. Her brother Lavatus, blaming Hamlet for his sister's death as well as his father's, swears to get revenge. He teams up with Claudius, and the pair devise a way to bring about Hamlet's death. In Act 5 and the last one, on his return to Denmark, Hamlet meets Horatia in the graveyard. He finds the skull of an old friend, the court jester Yorick, and talks to Horatia about life and death. Ophelia's funeral procession then arrives. During the funeral, Hamlet and Lauretus have a fight. The duel is arranged between the two of them to settle their differences. However, Claudius and Lauretus have already hatched their plan to kill Hamlet. They agree that they will dip Lauretta's sword in poison and also bring some poisoned wine to the duel for Hamlet to drink. At the duel, Hamlet refuses to drink the wine which Claudius has offered him. However, his mother, Gertrude, drinks it and dies instantly. Lotus and Hamlet each would wound each other. As he is dying, Latrus confesses the plot he and Claudius hatched to kill Hamlet and asks for Hamlet's forgiveness. Hamlet then stabs Claudius with the poisoned sword, killing him. Hamlet, of course, has also been stabbed with a poisoned blade in his last breath. He asks Horatia to tell the future king about him. The play ends as Hamlet dies.